This is TradeFlow News, bringing you relevant news and insights from around the world. TradeFlow News, enabling trade for SMEs and economies worldwide.
These are some of the key topics that we will be looking into in today's program.
First, let's take a look at the overnight headlines which are impacting the commodity markets.
Oil settled slightly higher on Friday, but posted a weekly decline after Iran played down a reported Israeli attack on its soil, a sign that an escalation of hostilities in the Middle East might be avoided. The front-month U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude contract for May ended 41 cents higher, or 0.5%, to $83.14 a barrel. The more active June contract closed 12 cents higher at $82.22 a barrel. Both benchmarks spiked more than $3 a barrel earlier in the session after explosions were heard in the Iranian city of Isfahan in what sources described as an Israeli attack. However, the gains were capped after Tehran played down the incident and said it did not plan to retaliate.
Russia became the top oil supplier to India during the fiscal year 2023-24 for a second year in a row, squeezing the market share of Middle Eastern and OPEC producers to historic lows, ship tracking data from industry sources showed. New Delhi has been gorging on Russian oil sold at a discount after Western nations shunned purchases and imposed sanctions on Moscow over its invasion of Ukraine. As a result, Russia is now the top supplier to the world's third-largest oil importer. India has continued to buy Russian oil despite problems posed by a raft of sanctions aimed at reducing Moscow's oil revenue to fund the war.
Moving on to the top news in the energy sector.
Participants are grappling with.
The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency will temporarily expand sales of higher-ethanol blends of gasoline this summer in an effort to reduce potential supply disruptions amid ongoing conflicts in Ukraine and the Middle East, it said in a letter dated Friday. The decision marks the third consecutive year the administration has lengthened the period during which Americans can keep buying E15, a gasoline that uses a 15% ethanol blend. Sales are effectively blocked from June 1 to Sept. Adding ethanol to gasoline is known to increase smog pollution in hot weather, but research has shown little difference between E15 and the more widely available E10 blends. Next, we have the top news in metal markets. Nickel prices hit a 7-month high on Friday, driven by market talk of Chinese plans to buy the metal for state stockpiles and worries about tighter supplies from top exporter Indonesia. 3-month nickel on the London Metal Exchange was up 3.7% at $19,250 a metric ton at Y1358 GMT. The metal, used in stainless steel and electric vehicle batteries, earlier hit $19,440, its highest since September. Nickel was boosted by market talk that China's stockpiler, the National Food and Strategic Reserves Administration, was planning to buy nickel pig iron, the main feedstock for stainless steel, industry sources said.
Copper, gold and other metals that have notched strong gains this year will rise further, fueled by robust Chinese demand outlook and macro uncertainties, Chinese state-backed research house Antike said. Metals with firm fundamentals and good liquidity have become more appealing to global financial investors amid receding U.S. interest rate cut bets, the conflict in the Middle East, and the war in Ukraine. Copper prices, often used as an economic bellwether, were also underpinned by concerns of output cuts due to shortage of raw material and demand optimism fueled by the green energy transition.
We will now look at the top news in the agricultural sector.
U.S. corn and soybean prices rose on Friday as heightened geopolitical tensions spurred a round of bargain buying after the benchmark contracts in both markets fell to their lowest levels in more than 6 weeks, traders said. Corn futures drew additional support from news that the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency will temporarily expand sales of higher-ethanol blends of gasoline this summer. Chicago Board of Trade, CBOT, July corn settled up 6.75 cents at $4.43 per bushel. July soybeans ended up 16.75 cents at $11.65 - a bushel, rallying after a dip to $11.45 - 3/4. The contract's lowest level since February 29. CBOT July wheat finished up 13.75 cents at $5.66 - 3/4 a bushel. That is all for today's news on commodity markets. Stay tuned to TradeFlow News as we continue to provide you with more updates. We also invite you to follow us on Twitter at TradeFlow News, which allows you to watch our program on your mobile device or desktop to receive information from there.